Volvo Cars is taking a bold step forward, heralding the end of an era for the pure internal combustion engine. From 2019, all internal combustion engines in new Volvo cars will be supplemented with electric propulsion in the form of mild or plug-in hybrid powertrains.
We are determined to be the first premium car maker to move our entire portfolio of vehicles into electrification. This is a clear commitment towards reducing our carbon footprint, as well as contributing to a better air quality in our cities. We are convinced that the future of Volvo is electric, and that's why we have stated the bold commitment to bring out 1 million twin-engine cars or all-electric cars on the roads till 2025.
Volvo's drivetrain program will be based on a mix of mild hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and pure electric drivetrains. The mild hybrid is a 48-volt system, using a combination of a battery that stores energy and a solution that acts as both a starter, generator, and electric motor.
The 48-volt mild hybrid configuration represents an accessible stepping stone in the move to full electrification and a real alternative to the diesel engine. It will deliver a better everyday driving experience while reducing fuel consumption and emissions.
Today, Volvo's twin-engine technology represents one of the leading plug-in hybrid offers available in the premium car market, delivering a no-compromise mix of pure electric, balanced hybrid, and high-performance drive modes. Between 2019 and 2021, Volvo Car Group will launch 5 pure electric models based on its scalable product and smaller, compact modular architectures.
From 2019, all new Volvo models will come with an electrified lineup. The time for electrification has finally come. The technology is ripe, the price is right, and our customers are ready.
Good afternoon and an extremely warm welcome to you live from Stockholm for the announcement of Volvo Cars' new electrification strategy. My name is David Ibbotson. I'm the Senior Vice President for Corporate Communications at Volvo Cars, and I'm joined here in our studio to my immediate right by Håkan Samuelsson, the President and Chief Executive of Volvo Cars, and to his right by Henrik Green, the Senior Vice President of Research and Development. So, what are you going to see and what are you going to hear? Well, we're going to have a very brief and quick description and recap of what it is we've announced this morning. And then the floor is yours. We're open to questions to those journalists that have joined us here in the studio and all of you who are joining online as well. Before we get there, just a couple of rules and regulations. For those of you here with us in the studio, if you have a question, simply raise your arm, wait for the microphone to come to you so that those of you listening online could hear what you say. And perhaps if you could just use English, state your name, the organization you work for, and then your question. For those of you online, simply follow the instructions that you receive from the moderator and you'll be able to ask any question you want. It's all pretty simple. So before we get there, let's recap what we've announced. Håkan, perhaps I could just begin with you. Summarize in your own words, what have we said? Why is it important for Volvo? Why is it important for the car industry?
I think it's a very significant decision, of course, for Volvo Cars. We are making a strategic change in the future of our development and a very clear roadmap defined. All cars released to the market after 2019 will be electrified. Then we talk about 3 levels. First step is to recover the brake energy in a hybrid system. Second is the twin engine system we already have on the market, and then the all electric propulsion, 3rd level. So that is, of course, making the company stronger, strengthening our brand image, which is a lot about protecting what's important for you. And this is something that is coming more and more from our customers. I think you could say we are reacting to customer demand, asking for electrified cars. And of course, it's also the way for us to come down when it comes to CO2 levels. and reducing our carbon footprint. That's really what we are communicating today.
Okay, so the first car company in the world to say that the pure internal combustion engine is going to evolve into the next stage of its development is effectively what we're announcing. Henrik, tell us a little bit more about these three electrified options and what it means for the customer.
Well, starting with the 48-volt mild hybrid, which together with a conventional combustion engine, essentially is a very good brake energy recovery system. And together with that, it gives an electric boost for a very smooth and powerful ride. So the customer will, in a quite traditional way, have a much more fuel efficient and CO2 efficient propulsion system that will also give a better performance and a better, smoother drive. Going to the next level, which is the twin engine, the plug-in hybrid system, a 400-volt system, which is the continuation of what we have today already with the T8 twin in our XC90 and S90 V90 cars. It's a very high, powerful system that gives an even better fuel economy and higher efficiency that you also can charge overnight and run completely on electric for a certain range. And then to the top, the pure electric propulsion system, we are looking at a modular system that gives a broad approach starting from a medium range, medium power, for everyday customers going up to a high performance and a really high range premium customer offer.
Okay, so whatever the customer wants, they can basically get when it comes to an electrified option. Let's put some meat on the bones, Håkan. What cars are we talking about here and when?
So, I mean, if you talk about these first two levels Henrik talked about, they will be available in all Volvo's part of the SPA and CMA architecture. The third level, the all-electric car, battery electric vehicles, there we will release five models starting in 19 and between 19 and 21, 5 cars. And two of those will be Polestar. We will use our new progressive premium brand for those, so they will be all electric only. The other 3 cars will be Volvos, and they will have also the all electric powertrain as an option. So we will integrate that into our vehicle architecture, both in the SPA as well as the CMA architecture.
Okay. Right, so that's what we've announced. Now the floor is yours. So what I'd like to do is to begin with, please, some questions from the journalists that have joined us here in our studio before we move online. So as I said, simply stick your hand up, wait for the microphone and pose your question. Over to you. The lady at the front here.
Anna-Kaisa Suni, Svenska Dagbladet. I would like to ask Håkan Samuelsson, only 2 years ago you said that you don't believe in pure electric cars. Why this sudden change?
I think things have changed, and I think also positive you can change your mind as well with that. And really what we were skeptic about was, of course, the cost level of batteries and also, of course, the lack of infrastructure to charge an all-electric car. So we believe and still believe that the plug-in technology is a very good bridge into the new world. But things has moved faster. As I said, the customer demand is increasing. This is an attractive car people want to have. Battery costs have come down, and I think there is also movement now on the charging infrastructure. So we have come to the opinion we need this faster than earlier, and that's why we now announce 5 new cars from 19.
Thank you very much. Any further questions? Yes, the gentleman here on the left.
Johan Kristensson i Teknik. I wonder how big batteries do you plan to install in your fully electrical vehicles?
Yes. First of all, I would like to start, as Håkan said, we are now preparing both the CMA platform and the SPA platform to have a fully state-of-the-art competitive pure floor section. So we will have a very good battery option between the front and the rear wheels, which will give a very competitive size for a battery. Now, of course, the battery chemistry will evolve over time. So as that even improves, we will also, of course, increase the specific kilowatt hours. But what we're saying at this point is that we will have a very competitive range with these cars, and they will be available both in a medium range and a long range, which basically at least is up to 500 kilometers. Now, yes.
Thank you, Henrik. Yes, Nicholas, the gentleman in the third row at the back with the beard.
Hi there. Nicholas Pod from Reuters. So you're launching cars now on 3 different levels of electrification. I would like to know, in the first few years, where do you see the greatest volumes in these 3 levels? Thank you.
The new basic will be this mild hybrid, of course. So I think in the first year that will be where we have the highest volume. But when it comes to twin engine or all electric, I would be less secure to give a guess. They would probably both be more or less equal. The twin engine is of course available already today. The all electric comes from 19.
Any further questions here from the floor? Yes, the lady here on the front row.
Hi, Maria Dahlin from Vi Bilägare. Just to be clear, is it only new models that will be electrified, or are we talking, if I'm ordering an XC60 model year 2019, will it be available with a diesel engine or electrified only?
No, all cars released after 19 will have this new powertrain, but of course we will sell already homologated cars for some time further. So there will be an overlap. We will not overnight change over to this new powertrain. It's cars, new models released after 19.
Okay, so how long is this overlap?
Difficult to say.
Well, typically the life cycle of a car is 7 years, so I think that gives you an indication.
So maximum, if a car was released just
before.
end of 18, then of course will be the last one. But say in 5 years' time, you would basically be on the new platform.
Yes, the gentleman at the back, Lasse.
Thank you. 2 questions. Will your new all-electric vehicle 2019, will it also be launched in Sweden the same year? And the second question is, what company will supply you with batteries?
It will be globally sold. The first car, we have already said earlier, will be based on the CMA platform, and with that car we will start producing in China, but it's a global car. It will be sold worldwide, the batteries.
Well, when it comes to batteries, of course, this is a highly competitive and an important component in all the future pure battery electric vehicles. And at this point, we haven't finally decided which supplier we will kick off with, but we are looking at all suppliers out there on the market today, and that will be a key part of being competitive going forward, is to always stick with the most successful and innovative supplier for that point in time.
And you can also, of course, add, by doing this very clear announcement today, that's also an invitation to anybody who is interested in investing in battery manufacturing. I think we need new players, we need more competition, and of course also to anybody interested in investing in charging infrastructure. I think that's good. They can now count on Volvo as customers.
Okay, let's take a break from the floor. I will come back to you for further questions. But let's open up the questioning to those of you who have joined us online. Perhaps the moderator could cue us in with the first question. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do have an audio question, please press 01 on your telephone keypad and you will enter the queue. After you are announced, please ask your question. Our first question comes from the line of Doug Baldock from Automotive News Europe. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hello, good afternoon. I wanted to ask both Håkan and Henrik about the pricing strategy for these new models. Are you anticipating the prices will be increasing a certain percentage, 5%, 10%, or what have you, or do you anticipate that the prices will stay the same?
I think it's too early to know exactly that, as well as the cost level will develop. I think you can say we will start in the premium segment. So the Polestar cars for sure will be premium electric cars. With Volvo, of course, we will go down further, but we will not enter into a budget low priced electric segment. We don't aim for volume, we aim for attractive cars. But Of course, also we are quite committed to secure that they will be competitive, attractive cars. I think difficult to be more precise about this at this stage.
And we can also, I'd like to add that the 48-volt mild hybrid system we talked about, for instance, to get a very efficient 3-cylinder petrol engine will as a total package be very cost efficient and CO2 efficient.
A very attractive alternative to the diesel engine in efficiency.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Let's stay online with our next question, please.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Robert Lee from The Times. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Morning. Combination of questions. The three mainstream Volvo all-electric models, what will they look like? What sort of vehicles will they be? The second thing is the international markets for your all-electric vehicles, which you expect to be strongest, and I'd be very interested to know what your view on the UK market would be. And thirdly, where would we expect these vehicles to be made?
See if I got it right here. The Volvo system will be added. We will add this module to the modular system. That means we talk about future Volvo models that will be applied with either 1, 2, or the third level. The Polestar variants will be all electric. They will be more premium and only electric. We don't see any clear picture. Right now, you can say there is half of the electric cars in the world are sold in China, but that's a lot of them in lower price segments. So we see really this demand coming globally. You see a lot of electric cars in California, you see a lot in Norway, in Sweden, in Germany, so it's coming globally. And last question was, we will build those globally also. We will build the first one, as I said, in China, but they will be built also in our European as well as our new American factory.
Yeah, sure. And just that thing on the UK market, do you expect the UK market to be strong?
Yeah, we hope so. And I think we have a very flexible concept. I mean, the infrastructure for charging is, of course, a limitation, but then I think we have this twin engine, which is much more suitable. And also an electric car. I mean, if you have a garage of your own, you can, of course, always charge it overnight. So I think it's a car for the UK as well, absolutely.
I understand we have plenty of questions online, so we'll stay online, please, with the next question.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Frank Mertens from Auto Gazette. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hello, Frank Mertens calling. Mr. Samuelson, when will you finish the production of combustion engines? Do you have any targets for that?
I think the cars, we said it earlier, I mean, Henrik said the lifetime of a car is about 7 years. So say 5 years or something, I think we'll be almost entirely on the new powertrain. So that is what we see today. But of course, this is something that the customers have to define. They have these 3 levels. So and the first level, of course, still includes a engine on top of them.
Yes.
So the time when we have all electric cars only, so only the third level here, I think is something still which is open, where we don't have an opinion today. It will be a transition, and I think the important thing is that Volvo, we have an ambition being fastest in this transition, and I think also I'm very glad to be the first company who clearly say we want to do this change. So I think it's a very decisive decision, both internally and externally, for our company.
Thank you. And
is it allowed? One more question, please.
Please go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Samuelson, you plan with 1 million electric cars till 2025. What will be the percentage of EVs on the whole sales figures so far?
Right now, we have about 15% twin engines in our car lines in the 90 series. I think that's realistic, and that's starting to adding up to this 1 million. And of course, with these 5 cars out on the market, we would have a significant share of all electric cars by 2025. So we are very committed or sure that we will reach 1 million. That will definitely be it's not an exaggeration.
Thank you very much indeed. And the next question online, please.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Jonathan Byrne from Auto Express. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hello there. My question is, of these 5 vehicles, 3 will be Volvo, 2 will be Polestar. With the Volvo vehicles, will these vehicles enter new segments where Volvo currently doesn't occupy, or will they be replacement vehicles?
It will be new models in the Volvo lineup, so they are not necessarily just a new styling of existing cars, but we will come back to revealing those cars. But they will have then these 3 power options, and the Polestar, as I said, the 2 Polestars will be only electric, so that will be a pure progressive performance brand.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions from the floor before we continue online? Would anyone like to ask a question here in Stockholm? Yes, sir. Front row.
Approximately how much more efficient will the level 1 version be compared to a regular combustion engine?
I think will be comparable in consumption and cost with the diesel engine. So it's a very attractive alternative.
And Lasse once more, the gentleman at the back.
Okay, take it in.
Okay, Ulrich Södernaut, Motorsport. Will the Polestar cars only be electrified, or will it be both twin-engine versions of the Polestar as well?
These 2 cars we talk about will be all electrified.
But there will be Polestar cars with twin-engine technique.
We will come back to talk more specific later on about the Polestar car lineup. So there might be more cars than these 2. We'll keep something for after summer.
Lasse.
Thank you. Lasse Svärd from Dagens Nyheter. Just to be clear, the mild hybrid system from 2019 will be combined with your petrol engines. Will it also be combined with your diesel engines, and how long will you hold on with your diesel family?
Well, when we start to roll out the mild hybrid, it will come to both combustion systems, so it will roll out on both petrol and diesel engines. And in the end, as we said before, we think that the small efficient petrol engine together with this system will be highly competitive, and in the end the customer will choose. But we will roll it out on both combustion systems.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's return online, where I once again understand we have plenty of questions. If you could queue in the next question, please.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Ray Massey from Daily Mail. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hello, Ray Massey, motoring editor at the Daily Mail. Is diesel dead or dying, and have you just killed it off?
Thanks, Ray.
Diesel is very important for us reaching the 2020 CO2 levels, 95 grams. Long term, the diesel will get more and more expensive because it requires some after treatment. And what we say today is really we see a small combustion engine with a mild hybrid is then cost and performance-wise a very attractive alternative. And then that's really also why we said earlier we don't see today that we are not planning any all new development on the diesel side.
Could I ask, the sales in the UK have been heading downwards quite significantly, particularly this month, even though diesels generally are getting cleaner. Do you think that message is getting across, and what effect has that had in your strategic decision?
Now, the diesel is, of course, getting cleaner. As I would say, if you talk about now the Euro 6 diesels, they are, of course, tested in the new cycle and so on. They are very clean diesel engines. So that's really what I can say. We are also following, of course, the trend in sales, but I think we have a more long-term approach. I mean, the diesel engine is cost-wise getting more expensive, and we would prefer to talk then about the alternatives to that. Otherwise, I think it's not a very constructive discussion, just talking about something that will end. So that's really why we see this electrification as the alternative, especially cost-wise.
How long would you give the diesel engine?
Ask the customers.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, can we continue online with the online questions, please? Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Sean O'Grady from The Independent. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you for all you've said so far. I wonder if you could just ask you a little bit more about the manufacturing side and the sourcing of components and where assembly will take place for the various components from electric motors, and you've talked about batteries and so on. How much Geely of China, your partner stroke parent, are involved in it, and for how much longer you will be making cars, including electric cars, in Sweden itself?
Lot of questions, Henrik.
Yes, let's try to start to see if I got it all. I mean, as I said before, strategically, it's very important components then. And I used to say that when we now enter into this new platform, as an engineering and procurement team, we need to be prepared that entering the platform now, as we're talking about in this 1921 timeframe, we will have a significant majority of the mix, as we said, on the mild hybrids. That will be the basic powertrain. We should not be surprised that as long as the platform lives, and the end of the life cycle, the pure battery electric vehicles may very well be the major part of the mix. So we have to buy systems and design systems so they are absolutely efficient and competitive for both sides. Having said that, going back to the manufacturing facilities, we are going to produce these platforms globally, so all our plants will be prepared. And actually, the way we now have developed the SPA and the CMA platform, we will be able to produce this in the same body shop line as we are producing current cars. So we are not foreseeing any major new facilities or factories that is needed, but the production of these cars will continue in the plants that we have in Europe, in US, and in China. And of course, as we are already today, we are looking for a sourcing footprint in China and in US to be able to supply it at the best local level. Hope that was answered to your questions.
Coordinated, of course, potentially also with Geely.
Of course.
Okay, thank you. I know we have a couple more questions waiting for us online, but I'm going to come back once again here to the studio to offer an opportunity to the gentleman on the third row, Håkan Mattsson.
Håkan Mattsson, Dagens Industri. With the need you have for batteries, do you have any plans, discussions, or desire to invest in Northvolt?
Not to invest, but I think we are very interested in Northvolt, and it's a really good initiative because we need capacity worldwide in the battery sector and also competition. So I think our best contribution to Northvolt is exactly committing to electrification, so being a potential customer to Northvolt, and that is part of the message today, an invitation also to them.
Before I go back online again, any last or further questions? Yes. The microphones, please, to the front row.
Here.
Tesla's market capitalization is very high, even though they don't sell as many cars yet. So two questions to Håkan Samuelsson. What does today's news mean regarding an eventual IPO of Volvo? And how do you see the competition with Tesla?
We see today's message is a clear signal regarding our product development strategy for the future. I don't see any connection to the other issue. Tesla, I think, is the only car maker today being all electric. It's a premium car maker, and I think it's it's a tough competitor we are respecting a lot. But with this decision, we are really becoming the second premium car maker in the world, which will be also electrified.
Thank you very much. I will go back online in a second. Any last questions here from the floor? No. Okay, so let's go back online, please.
Thank Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Mikael Knaue from Automobilwoche. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Samuelsson. Two questions. First, would you meet the CO2 regulation in Europe with, and the emission targets without any electrification? You know the targets, and is that possible? And is so the electrification the main purpose to meet these regulation targets? Second question is, Volvo was for decades regarded as a decent car for long range, and that's why many people ordered a diesel version. What will you offer in some few years to those customers, and don't you risk to lose these customers? Thank you.
The first question, as I understood, we will meet the requirements in the European Union till 2020 with basically the product line we are having now. I mean, it has to be made with more efficient combustion engines. Coming further down, and I'm quite sure there will be new legislation coming up. Exactly how much is still discussed, but we believe that will not be possible to meet only with more efficient combustion engines. That has to be reached with electrification. That is really one of the reasons we are making this announcement. The other was, as I said, customer demand is coming. Electric cars are seen as very attractive car, and we have to listen to our customers. To customers who, of course, want an extreme long range. First of all, I think we are talking, Henrik said, we will have a lot of battery capacity, so even the electric cars will have a very long range. But if you would have, of course, still longer range, then of course these other two versions are the right alternative, either twin engine or the first mild hybrid level. Both of those will, of course, be independent of charging infrastructure.
Okay, we're a little bit short of time, but we do have space for one last question from the online section, please.
Thank you. Our final question comes from the line of David Williams from Evening Standard. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hello, David Williams, London Evening Standard. Can you expand, please, on the global impact that your decision will have on emissions, such as NOx, generated by all Volvos on European and world roads, perhaps in the first 5 to 10 years from 2019?
Cannot quantify it, but of course will have a significant positive effect on NOx levels. As you know, the diesel engine has so far had a higher NOx level than the petrol engine, and with this new technology, of course, the all-electric and the twin engines will, of course, be significantly lower, but also a petrol engine with a mild hybrid will, regarding performance, CO2 levels, cost, be a very attractive alternative to the diesel engine. I mean, on the NOx side, it will be, of course, even better as it's a petrol engine.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much indeed, Håkan. Thank you very much indeed, Henrik. And for everyone that joined us online and for everyone here with us in the studio in Stockholm, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you for coming.